Change is good. Machoni is just a simple young man who's trying to make the world out there look beautiful. We'll transplant and see the effect of moving them. Come to this plant. And I've noted that the leaves are so big and wide nicely. And all of them have soil on the inside because of the water, the flooding. We want to transplant the tomatoes as well here. You can see Akina Popo here coming up well. This one is leafing nicely. So the whole of this area which has been plowed, we're going to transplant the tomatoes which are on the nurseries. If this is the first time you're watching my video or visiting my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button below and click the bell button to turn on the notification. Thank you. Fresh from the farm, first produce. In the morning I engaged a new worker to assist with the farm, and I'm hoping that if he's a good handyman, he'll be the one who will be able to manage and take care of the farm. And slowly they're forming a bulb. A bulb is like a cabbage. There's another one which is all leafy and not bulbed yet. Next week but one. Should come with a crate and send a few to the market. See how the uptake will be. The section that we had kept aside for the smaller fruit trees, around it was cleared, which is a good thing. Well, this is where I want to transplant the other tomatoes and capsicums in the nursery. This one is picking up quite well. This is a good thing. This section we have planted coriander, but as you can see, only a few of them have sprouted. So these sections are the ones which I'm hoping that at least by Friday they will be planted. The side with the tomatoes have really picked up very well, especially the first ones we planted. This is where I started, if you remember. These two trees. Look now. They've really picked up quite well all the way to the end. Several weeks later, this is where we are now. This one, it seems they're not taking it that well. But they're holding up. They're holding on. So far, this is the smallest size that I've seen. Came across this orange tree that is flowering. And I noted that it's been flowering a lot. Had taken off some of its flowers, but I think I'm going to wait and see whether it will fruit. See what kind of fruiting it will have. I'm grateful for the work that has been done. The tomatoes are doing quite well. So God willing, the whole of this place should be able to produce good fruit. Come to the farm, and the lettuces, I can see majority of them are drying. The sun is too hot. We might need to intensify the watering. Hopefully they'll pick up once more. The capsicum crop has been transplanted, and so far the section that was dug the other day is full of capsicums. Here there's a challenge of water pressure, so let me just see it for myself how the pressure is on the water. There's no pressure on the water, so it's making it a bit difficult for the farm hands to do what they need to do. So on getting the tank lifted up so that we can get more water. Just done some watering right now, and immediately the plants are very happy. I'm still hopeful that there will be a good return in the next 2 weeks, and we shall take to the farm something good. So let's see how it goes. Now let me just take my farm hands after good work, take them for lunch. Last I left, the transplants were being done from the nursery, so I am here to see whether they have been done and done correctly and how far the other plants are. So let's see. Watering is still ongoing. You can see the smaller ones are becoming a bit bigger. Another bulb has come up here. The more you water them, the better they're turning out. So it looks fantastic. The lettuces are doing quite well, and I've noticed that with good watering, they are bulbing, which is good. But there's still some which are taking longer to mature. You can see some leaves are yellowing, and deep down it looks like the way it was being watered, it was washing away the root. The capsicums that were transplanted, this is the second week. They seem to be holding up well. They're still small. Watering is ongoing. That's a good thing. It's the grape plant. The tomatoes have suddenly become very big compared to the oranges. Look at the size. Some of them have even started flowering. It's a new section where transplanting has been done. It was done. These are capsicums. They were transplanted here 3 days ago. The capsicums and the tomatoes that were remaining in the nursery were transplanted, and that is what now they're being watered. This other side of the farm, nothing has sprouted. We had put in here iceberg lettuce. Out of that, nothing has come up. Poor mango tree seems to be dying and drying. Not so sure what's happening. Spraying. Just came across this little interesting spider. It was trying to hide underneath one of my orange trees. This kind of caterpillar is feeding exclusively on the orange trees. This is the effect of not spraying the third week. I found it in majority of the trees when I'm spraying, and they have really eaten up. Then there is this kind of caterpillar as well. It's really well camouflaged. It's a really big one. So the area that had tomatoes that were very small, I decided to spray it with foliar, some insecticide and fungicide, just to try out and see whether those tomatoes will grow bigger than and faster than the other. So I will want to see whether there is any significant change on the spraying of the tomatoes. Hopefully with that we should be on a good journey to a good harvest. Let me see in the comments below what you think we need to do as well. And yeah, let's grow and farm together. I'm back to the farm after close to a week. Just coming to see. It has been raining. The rains have come in really well, and thanks to that I'm seeing all my tomatoes are all green nicely. The oranges are smiling with the water after having been sprayed, and the good water. They're looking quite well. The water that they have been getting was very little. It seems that the watering was not done very well. I think I might need to change how things are being done. Because look at this plant. It's only been 3 or 4 days of rain. It has rained twice in the last 4 days, and they've already picked up. As you can see, majority of them. Last week when I was taking a video, they were very small. So having noted what is happening with the flowers, we need to start on our spraying program. Yeah, that's the work for today and going forward for the next several weeks until we start harvesting fruit. So we start with spraying the tomato plants that are flowering and fruiting. Then we move on to the smaller ones which also need some fertilizer. And again we move on to the capsicums which are still small. We need to put in fertilizer so that as the rains continue, they can be able to pick up very well. This one has hardened. It's good for harvesting. I'm still looking for market. So we decided to put up a structure for a water tower. It's meant to hold about 10,000 liters, which is basically 2 5,000 liter tanks. The size of it is 4 meters by 2 meters wide and 3 meters high. What is currently remaining is another pillar on top and a slab. And then we wait for it to dry so that it can hold up the weight. Back to the farm to check out and see how the lettuce is performing. Unfortunately, I'm finding majority of them, the leaves are yellowing and drying despite the watering. Even after the watering, I've noted that the water is disappearing. Within the hour, the ground looks very dry. So we are trying to water a lot during the night. During the day, it's been very, very hot. A good size. This is a good one. Growing lettuce in the dry areas, you better have another way of coping with the heat. This one is still small, and this one I'm going to pick just because. Look at that. This one makes me proud. If I can get all of them to get to this size or bigger, that will be very good. I'm trying to see if this sun will allow that. After harvesting, this is what remains of the stump. I've read severally that the stump, if you leave it well and you water it, it's supposed to grow again because it has root. But so far, the few that I have picked, I've seen them dry. This is the effect of the sun. My mango tree. We have tried to mulch it. Iceberg lettuces. This is the one that grew and is still surviving. What you can see here is the grape tree. If you remember, this is the one that I used to take pictures of at the beginning when it was just a leaf. This is the side that I planted the other day. The way this plant is tucking in, it says a lot. This is the other side of the farm. This section, nothing was planted here. It just has the Pixie oranges. As you can see, the plants are fruiting and fruiting very well. I'm hopeful. I pray for a bounty harvest. How one small plant can have so many. I'm not complaining. I'm very happy. Thank you, Jesus. This is the size of the tomato plants that were last planted on the farm. You can see this is the effect of a cow. There were cows on the farm today. Luckily they don't eat tomatoes. The owner just lets his animals roam around without considering. This is where one of them passed. The second half, most of the tomatoes have not flowered a lot. So far so good. Everything is going well. The other side of the farm was harvested. Not much maize came out of it, but the grain that was collected at least was stored. About 2 or 3 bags. Had an accident the previous week, so I've been down and out. But today I'm able to walk. I've pushed myself so that I can and see the progress of what's happening. I'm very happy to see the size of the capsicums. They're doing well. Thank you, Jesus. But I can see there's a purple plant over here which still looks like it doesn't want to pick up. So that is how the staking is going on. It's amazing to see the explosion on the number of tomatoes that are coming out. Having them laid down on the ground like this might not be the best. So I need them staked as soon as possible, and then mulching to be done underneath. So small, but it's 2 big, beautiful tomatoes. Oh, manana. Lettuces are still coming up. One stalk has up to close to 10, 12 actually. Those are very many tomatoes. And the other tomato, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. The state of the capsicums as of today, as well as the pawpaw plant. Even my grape tree. I think I need to have it staked as well. Wow, look at this. My ho-hos are producing fruit. I can harvest before I leave. This orange tree looks like someone damaged it. At this size, if I was to harvest this one, let me harvest and see. I store this one, see how long it will stay before it gets fully ripe. Mulching has been properly done. At least none of the tomatoes is fallen or is on the ground. Someone here knew what they were doing, unlike the other areas. We did a harvest, the first harvest last week. We did 2 buckets. As you can see, the whole of the farm. This section, everything is just tomatoes and tomato fruit. I'm a happy farmer. What I'm looking at is to see how to increase the size of these tomatoes. Started the farm to do Pixie oranges. The Pixies are doing quite well. I can see the stem is quite firm. The leaves are just growing and it continues to grow, even though at a slower rate. But when you look at the whole farm, it looks like the tomatoes have taken over. The Pixies are there growing, just like this one. But next to it, you can see the overgrown tomatoes producing and producing and producing. I hope that the tomatoes will keep the farm running, take care of the farming costs, so that the Pixie oranges at some point will start making the marginal return. We've done the farming, the crop is coming up, it's fruiting, the fruits are going to be harvested, or the harvest already started. Now comes the part going to the market, looking for buyers. It seems so far away, but right now we have to go and look for someone to come and pick all of these tomatoes. There are people who are coming to buy one-offs. That is good, but we need a regular place to be able to take all of them in crates and boxes. That is currently where we are. Where do we find the market for all this produce? All of this need mulch, as of now, at the rate at which we are growing, this fruit might start hanging down and insects will come in pests. So this is the work that will be done for next week. My main aim of starting the farm was to do Pixie. No harvest just yet, but we're working and learning by using the tomatoes as an example. And we'll start looking for the market. These rains are doing quite well. They should continue like this. Look at my purpose. All these capsicums going all the way to the end. All of them are developing. Look like they're doing quite well. At this rate, they would give the tomatoes a competition. Wow, here's another capsicum. If you pluck a lettuce midway and let the leaves to keep growing, well, this is an example of what happens. It just dries up. Nothing much happens. It doesn't grow. So I would not urge anyone to do. This is one of my oranges. Oh wow. Fruits are growing bigger. By looking at this tree, you would not tell. It looks so small, but yet it's producing fruit. Close to a year later. Do not despise the days of humble beginnings. The dead grass is what is being used for mulch. I want to find a way of eliminating them completely so that I can plant some moringa here and some rosemary as well from one side to the other. Lala, yeah. Hii imekuwa kubwa.
Hata zingine ni hizi. Zingine ni hizi.
La, kuna zingine kubwa kubwa. This is the situation of my capsicums. This is a very good size. This is the harvest for the day. Oh, do we care? This far, everything that has come out here, 70% of them have been sold. Tuta absoluta has been one of my greatest challenges. First quarter of tomatoes has been done. So in the next 2 weeks, by the end of the month, this land here is going to be with dry plants and bare of tomatoes. We plow again, till again, put fertilizer and plant new ones. So hopefully let's see how it goes. This is the next section. And after this section, this other section will be coming out mid. Let's see how the hojos will also perform when it comes to the market. So I need to be on the lookout for a market for capsicums, cherry tomatoes, and also for the oranges, so that at least I start planning early enough. I have come to realize that one of the biggest challenges that farmers have is getting a ready market. You can go to the farm, you can go to the market and find the prices have changed drastically. But so far, I've been able to mitigate that by getting the tomato market early in advance. So let's see if I can be able to get even for the capsicums. Good harvest of a capsicum. I don't think they're getting adequate water. This is so flourished. So it's good to work when you're there. The season of tomato is coming to an end on my farm. I'm more disappointed with the effect the birds have caused me, the sun, the pests. Because to get a good, profitable return, I must find a way of dealing with all those effects. all the waste tomatoes that came from the farm. So we just threw them into the compost pit. This is good. I'm impressed that someone has taken the initiative and then they're working on building themselves and produce food. Don't just sit. Not exactly sure what has been eating this. These cherries are so nice and big. This I am harvesting for me. Considering how the tomatoes have been affected by disease, the cherries have survived. One after the other, the Rio Grandes are done. The cherries are still here and they're still producing. And they're still flowering. I have lots and lots of cherry tomatoes. I planted them for my eating, but they are in excess. I could easily sell.